International news.
Flood wreaks havoc in Nasarawa State, claims 6 lives. Perseverance, faith and trust in God can overcome challenges, says Vice President Osinbajo to Nigeria. Poised to succeed in its mandate, Nigerian Army commits to regular review of operations. The Iranian embassy in Nigeria takes steps towards equipping Nigerian females for national development. Also great to have you join us on the news on NTA International. I am Ifeanyi Okafor. Now, top of the bulletin, there is no doubt that Nigeria is facing huge challenges, but with trust, perseverance and faith in God, they can be overcome. This is the view of clerics at the Sunday service held at the Aso Villa Chapel, where Vice President Yemi Osinbajo and his household also worshipped. And moving ahead, pensioners in Cross River State gathered at what they called a solemn assembly to pray for God's blessings on the state so that the government will continue to ensure that salaries and pensions are paid as and when due. Uduak Etim reports from Calabar.
The retirees, who believed that prayer is the sure way to success, prayed God to open channels by which their entitlements be paid. They thanked the state governor Ben Ayade for prompt payment of pension and salaries in the state and appealed for the payment of their retirement benefits. The retirees at the solemn assembly also appreciated God for seeing them through the 35 years in service.
The main purpose of gathering here is just to let the government, to remind the government about the payment of gratuity. For years, 5 years, 4 years, 3 years, till today, many have not received. As we have been saying, we have lost some, and some are very sick. They are there in the hospital. Some, their families are frustrated because nobody to take care of them. But if this money, our gratuities are paid, yes, the families will be taken good care of.
The retirees are dying in their 10s and 20s, and many of them are even bedridden now. They cannot even access medical help for lack of fund. So we prayed also for our families that God should keep us, that when this money is given to us, we should be able to enjoy it with our family.
The coordinator of the group, who is also a pensioner, Pastor Joshua Idan, enjoined retirees to pray without ceasing, noting that prayer is the key to a successful life. The service also featured praises and worship. In Calabar, Uduak Etam, NTA News.
That Nigeria is facing huge challenges, but with trust, perseverance, and faith in God, they can be overcome. Now, this was a view of clerics at the Sunday service held at the Aso Villa Chapel, where Vice President Yemi Osinbajo and his household also worshipped. That package by State House correspondent Jide Onifade now comes up.
Just recently, Nigerians, irrespective of religion, united and insisted on a change that would usher in incorruptible leaders. This change came with the election of President Muhammadu Buhari, whose integrity is globally acknowledged. This faith in the present leadership and God's ability to make things happen above all challenges is what clerics at the Aso Villa Chapel are admonishing Nigerians to keep alive, as they say the nation would soon overcome its present challenges. The choir ministration titled "We Shall Recover All" set the tone for the day's service. The chaplain of the chapel, in his sermon, notes that though there may be seeming overwhelming circumstances that may provoke the casting away of one's confidence, Nigerians need to keep their faith in God.
Your power at this hour right now, by the authority of the
Also among the congregation were members of the World Council of Churches.
Share the love of God in our daily life. We are here to live together in peace, in harmony, and therefore let us show that our faith, whether we are Muslims or Christians, really motivate us for this life together.
Without faith, it is impossible to get anything done. Without trusting in the God who created Nigeria, without trusting in the God who created human beings, without trusting in the Lord who has the power to do what is impossible with men, nothing could be done tangibly in Nigeria.
When we begin to blame one another and become hopeless, then there is a problem. So I would advise that all Nigerians should begin to think that future is going to be better. We can't know if God lives in heaven, he doesn't leave any nation hopeless.
From the Asovilla Chapel, Jide Onifade, NT News.
Still on religious matters, 1,325 intending Muslim pilgrims from Taraba State are set for airlift. Bilkisu Abubakar has more.
1,325 intending Muslim pilgrims have been registered for the 2016 Hajj exercise from Taraba State. 400 pilgrims are expected to be airlifted to Medina city of Saudi Arabia for the journey of faith per each flight.
Marvelously excited, and I feel spiritually connected to my Lord, who gave me a divine call, and I am answering. Glory be to God for making it possible for me to be part of this program. Alhamdulillah. I want to pray seriously for the country and for the betterment of the economic situation in the country.
The Executive Secretary, Taraba State Muslim Pilgrims Welfare Board, Omar Adamuleme, says all arrangements have been concluded towards ensuring hitch-free Hajj operations. He said the pilgrims have been educated on the obligations of the spiritual exercise and regulations of the Saudi authorities.
I always tell them to be work themselves, to be good ambassadors of not only Taraba but the whole country, but Nigeria, to pray for the peace and progress of our nation, our state, pray for our leaders.
The representative of the Taraba State Amirul Hajj, Bashir Muhammad, has assured the pilgrims that their welfare will be accorded due priority. In Yola, Bilkisu Abubakar, NTA News.
Away from religious matters to infrastructure development, the federal government at the weekend opened the Apapa Ijora Bridge to light traffic as the emergency repair works continue. It will be recalled that the bridge had to be shut on Monday, August 8th for emergency repair works on its failed sections and temporary coverage of the failed concrete bridge deck section following an inspection tour and a meeting with stakeholders by the Minister of Power, Works and Housing, Babatunde Fashola. A statement by the Special Advisor to the Minister on Communications, Hakim Bello, says the partial opening was due to consistent attention from the contracting firm and supervisory work by officials of the Federal Ministry of Power, Works and Housing. Work on the temporary coverage of the failed concrete bridge deck section was completed Saturday, including the approach to the bridge. On to security matters. With the current dynamism in global and national insecurity, the Nigerian Army says it will ensure regular review of its operations to enhance success of its mandate. The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tukur Buratai, stated this while on a working visit to the headquarters of the 1 Division of the Nigerian Army in Kaduna. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa reports.
The 1 Division of the Nigerian Army is vested with the responsibility of coordinating operations of the Nigerian Army in the Northwest. Though the division has for long successfully contained internal security in the zone, periodic appraisal of its activities, the Chief of Army Staff said, is critical.
So far we are satisfied with the performance of the division, and we are also looking at some of the logistics and administrative challenges which we are also addressing.
Similarly, in an effort to uplift the welfare and boost the morale of officers and men of the Nigerian Army, the Chief of Army Staff has commissioned the Safest Girls Chalet, built by the Army Public Relations Unit, the renovated 515 Signal Quarters, and Daycare, Nursery and Primary School, built by the Nigerian Army Officers' Wives Association, NAOA, 1 Division Chapter.
Let me use this medium to also urge all our women to continue to persevere in keeping the home front and encourage our children to study hard for better tomorrow.
The President, One Division Chapter Naowa, Mrs. Florence Oyadegbe, and the Governor of Kaduna State, Nasiru El-Rufai, represented by his wife, Hadiza El-Rufai, promised to support efforts to ensure that education is accessible and affordable to all children in the state. Ismail Musa, NTA News.
From Ogun State, Governor Ibikunle Amosun has advised participants of the 2016 summer camp organized by the government to make use of the knowledge and skills acquired during the exercise to better their future and the nation. Governor Amosun, who gave the advice while hosting the 115 students and their instructors at the government house in Abuja, expressed confidence that the experience acquired at the summer will be of immense benefit to the children. Lekon Agbonde has details.
The 115 students drawn from public secondary school across the state are taking part in 2 weeks intensive training as part of the efforts to test run the model school constructed by the government across the state. The students who are camped at model school in Ewekoro local government area of the state embarked on an endurance trek to visit the governor for a breakfast. Governor Amosun says the camp was initiated to expose the young children to various skills and innovations beyond what could be learned in normal academic setting in schools.
Because tomorrow you are going to be our future leaders. All of the things we are doing now, the model school that you are seeing, you are going to build on it, you are going to do better than what we did. And the only way that you will be in a position to do all of this is when you are given that knowledge.
The state deputy governor, Chief Yetunde Onanuga, and the wife of the governor, Mrs. Olufunso Amosun, also offered advice to the young children.
Knowledge is power. You have to go back home and build yourself on the knowledge you have been given so far in the camp.
The thing that was embedded in that, the high point was, as you learn to care for the environment, you should learn to care for fellow.
The young participants, with enthusiasm, expressed gratitude to the government for the opportunity and promised to make use of the moral, academic, and entrepreneurship skills acquired at the camp in Abeokuta. Lekon Agbonde, NTA News.
In line with the federal government's anti-corruption crusade, the Senior Staff Association of Nigerian Universities, SANU, has called on the federal government to extend its corruption fight to the university community. This was part of the issues deliberated on at the National Executive Council meeting of the association held in Edo State. The members commended various efforts by the government in ensuring stability in the nation's polity and solicited more attention to all key sectors to enhance development. They equally want state governors and institutions that have not paid salaries of university staff to do so for industrial peace. SANU commended the federal government's appointment of heads of parastatals, commissions and agencies under the Federal Ministry of Education, describing the action as the right step in the right direction. And rather sadly, communities residing around Karu new layout in Nasarawa State are living in fear as flood claimed 6 lives in the area recently. Governor Umaru Tanko Almakura, on a sympathy visit to the community, directed the relocation of residents to avert similar disaster. Abdulai Garba Birninkudu has a situation report.
This is the situation at Karuni layout as the people are living in a flood-prone area. The recent flooding destroyed more than 35 houses and claimed 6 lives, with some bodies still missing.
Climb up to the ceiling. It was when the water go down before we could be able to come down. A woman and the father and about 3 kids, they were lost up to now. They find one body at down riverside, and the woman up to now. Some they have now seen some update now.
Governor Umaru Tanko Almakura, who observed that buildings were erected on waterways, assured of prompt action to avert another calamity.
Like you can see, there are still houses that are prone and vulnerable to these problems. We will give certain setbacks. Any house that falls within the setback may have to be relocated. We'll try to see what we could do to assist those occupants of those houses.
For now, government has directed the clearing of refuse to allow free flow of water. Abdullahi Garba Kudu, NTA News.
This is the news on NTA International, Abuja, Nigeria. More reports after the break. Stay with us.
Information is power. Everyone wants power. So feel powerful with the NTA News mobile app, the one-stop information center. Real news at your fingertip. Be the first to report by uploading first-hand information on the U-Report link, and be the first to know by simply clicking on any of the links on the sidebar for headlines, domestic and foreign news, economy, security, politics, sports, and more. Stream live on your smartphone and tablets and stay connected. It's pretty easy. Simply download NTA News app from your Google Play Store and you're good to go. NTA News mobile app, your access to real-time information.
NTA International News. Africa as it is.
Great to have you back on the news. Now to economic matters. The Reserve Bank of India, also known as the Central Bank of India, has named a new head. Details of this and more with Moplang Dakok.
Urjit Patel has been named as the new governor of the Reserve Bank of India. Mr. Patel, who worked at the International Monetary Fund in the early 1990s, is said to be an expert on inflation, which remains one of the big worries to the Indian economy. Mr. Patel is to take over from Raghuram Rajan, whose term ends on September 4. Also, South African Reserve Bank says it is continuously assessing adverse events that could pose a financial stability risk involving ratings downgrade. The Minister of Finance, David Maina, said the bank is involved in continuous effort to identify, quantify and mitigate possible adverse events that could lead to a financial instability. Muplang Dakok, NTA News.
And from business to education, as the Iranian Embassy in Nigeria is championing the cause of enlightening Nigerian women on girl-child education and the role of women in nation building. The cultural section of the embassy has organized a one-day seminar in Abuja to critically profile solutions to achieve the set objective. Ilyasu Ali Yakubu completes the report.
The seminar has the theme Girl, Child and National Growth from the educational, moral, ethical and social-religious perspectives as regards women and nation building. Iranian ambassador to Nigeria, Motez Rahimi, emphasized the need for women to take their pride of place as provided by the Holy Quran. He said Allah has in many chapters of the Holy Quran spoken on the virtues of a woman which must be respected in all ramifications.
The role that has been assigned to the women to build up a society is unique.
The Islam as a big religious in all over the world is trying to upgrade the situation of the women.
The women, they should be empowered, they should be highly educated, because when they are educated, they know exactly what Allah said, what Allah decreed for them.
That the woman is an institution. He said the woman is a university. You know, you train one woman, if he has 7 children, the whole of them will be trained.
A woman must be included in the process of nation building.
The seminar drew participants from the religious and other organizations to consolidate on the woman's position in the scheme of things. In Abuja, Ilyasu Ali Yakubu, NTA News.
And for stories trending around the globe, Uche Mwizu has the package.
King of Morocco, Mohammed VI, has advised Moroccans living abroad, mostly in Europe, to defend a tolerant form of Islam and reject extremism. He made the appeal to the 5 million Moroccans in the diaspora following the recent attacks in Europe by Islamic militants, as some European citizens of Moroccan origin were implicated in some of the attacks. Reports from Philippines says President Rodrigo Duterte has threatened to bring the country out of the United Nations after the body criticizes war on drugs as a crime under international law. Mr. Duterte said he might ask China and African nations to form another body. He accused the UN of failing on ending terrorism, hunger and conflicts. Elected in May, Mr. Duterte sanctioned the killing of traffickers to try to wipe out the drugs trade, as some 900 suspected drug offenders have been killed. The UN has repeatedly condemned the drive as a violation of human rights. We go to Greece, where 12 districts of the country have banned blood donations due to reports of malaria. 4 cases recorded this year were contracted domestically, and 61 other people were infected in the Indian and African regions. Domestic cases of malaria were first reported 4 years ago, about 4 decades after the disease was wiped out in Greece. Uche Nwizu, NTA News.
Remains of Nigeria's former Minister of Foreign Affairs, Ojo Maduekwe, have been interred in his hometown, Asaga, Ohafia local government area of Abia State. Dennis Temple has details of the interment.
Drawing from the lessons in the book of Ecclesiastes, the clergyman and the officiating minister at the funeral service of the statesman held at the All Saints Presbyterian Church, Asaga, Ohafia, urged Christians to strive to live the exemplary life of dedication, integrity, and service that Chief Ojo Maduekwe led.
A group of Christians who do not say love Lord. But not do what the Lord said. A group of Christians that say love Lord and will do what the Lord said.
Governor Okezie Ikpeazu described Ojo as a true ambassador of Abia State, Nigeria, who lived a distinguished life.
And these questions are no longer important to the person of Ojo, but those questions remain with us that are living. Is death a punishment for the dead or for the living? I want to say that the responsibility of living, according to the tenets and legacies of Ojo Maduekwe, resides on our shoulders.
Tributes and commendations continued to pour on the departed statesman as the mortal body was interred in his country home.
A man who has made life serving his country. Ojo always stood for what was good, what was honorable, and what would be in the interest of the ordinary people of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Worthy of emulation by our youth, by our leaders, by everybody.
His departure from this jungle is creating a void.
And we are pleading and praying to God that this vacuum should be filled.
As part of the Bureau's activities, a valedictory session was earlier held in his honor by the Abia State government. In Umuahia, Dennis Temple, NTA News.
And on sports, it has been intense excitement at the Rio 2016 Olympics, with competition for medals in about 42 Olympic sports. For Nigerians, expectations were high for the Olympic gold medal in football, having achieved a similar feat in Atlanta, USA in 1996. Here are reactions of some Nigerians after the coach Samson Siasia's Dream Team 6 this Saturday won their third-place match against Honduras, earning them a bronze medal.